Christine, how much does it hurt the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out?
It is devastating to the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out.
This is dread for the Indiana Fever and the WNBA. You see, tonight was supposed to be a huge night for the league, for the Dallas Wings, for the Indiana Fever. In theory, you would think Kathy Engelbert would want this. I'm sure Adam Silver of the National Basketball Association would want this. But tonight was supposed to be Caitlin Clark versus Paige Beckers.
Caitlin Clark is out injured right now, and it appears that we know, well, she's out injured with a groin injury, and it appears there is footage of how it happened.
Caitlin Clark is officially out with a groin injury, and while headlines are calling it unfortunate, let's be honest, this was inevitable. For weeks, we've watched her take hit after hit, get thrown to the floor, and play through visible pain, while the referees stood silent and the league looked the other way. This isn't just about one strained muscle. It's about a pattern of abuse, neglect, and silence surrounding the most important player in women's basketball today. Clark didn't just break down overnight. She was broken down by a system that profits from her greatness but refuses to protect it. And now the league's biggest star is on the bench, and the people responsible are still pretending nothing's wrong. If you're tired of the silence, if you're ready to hold this league accountable, then hit that like button, subscribe to Spotlight WNBA, and drop a comment below. Protect Caitlin Clark, because this conversation can't wait, and neither can she.
Caitlin Clark is out again with an injury, which is the worst thing you can hear if you're a fan of the Indiana Fever, and really if you're a fan of the WNBA, because obviously Clark is the engine that makes the Indiana Fever go and is the single biggest driver of interest in the WNBA, and it's not close. And anytime somebody is out of the lineup, you get concerned, especially when it's Clark, obviously, considering she had already been injured earlier this year and is now out with what is being dubbed a left groin issue.
You didn't need to be a doctor to see something was wrong. In the 3 games leading up to her injury, Caitlin Clark made just 1 3-pointer. That's unheard of for the NCAA's all-time leading scorer and one of the most electric shooters in the world. Her movements were slower, her explosiveness was gone, and her usual fire, the energy that lights up arenas, was flickering. Fans noticed, commentators noticed. Even her opponents looked surprised when she missed shots that used to be automatic. She had tape on her upper left leg, her warm-ups looked labored, her smile, her swagger, her spark. It all seemed dulled, something was wrong, and yet, game after game, she was sent back onto the court like nothing was happening. The alarms were blaring, nobody listened.
Dealing with an injury, not looking like herself, the game is already out of hand, yet we still put her back in with 45 seconds left. How much patience do I need to have before I can start going nuclear? Because I am getting very frustrated with what I am seeing. To everybody that said Caitlin Clark didn't look like herself, salute to you. For everybody that said Caitlin Clark might be going through something, salute to you. Clearly, you all saw what that person that stands there like this can't see.
This is the second significant injury Caitlin has suffered in just a matter of weeks. First, it was a quad issue, now it's a groin strain. And let's be honest, these aren't freak accidents. These are the kinds of injuries that show up when a player is run into the ground. When they're playing too many minutes, taking too many hits, and not being given the time to recover. And it's not like she's surrounded by elite protection or depth. The Indiana Fever have leaned on Caitlin for everything. They want her to score, to pass, to lead, to energize the crowd, and to save the franchise. But there's a difference between being a star and being a crutch. She's 22 years old, and she's carrying a $1 billion marketing campaign on her back. And now that back is starting to break.
So I just wanted to give you guys my honest reactions and thoughts on it. And that is the news that Caitlin Clark is out with a groin injury. Now, if you guys have been watching the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark play over the past 3 games, it is very clear that Caitlin Clark is not feeling like Caitlin Clark. She has only made 1 3-pointer in her last 3 games. And even just last game, she only had 6 points. But it wasn't only her performance on the court that was worrying fans. It was also just her demeanor, her energy. It felt like something was wrong. She wasn't hyping up the crowd like she normally does. And even in her pregame routine, she was doing some things differently.
Let's talk about how we got here. The real reason Caitlin Clark is injured isn't just wear and tear. It's the result of unchecked, uncalled, and frankly unacceptable physical abuse. Watch the tape. Every game, she's getting hip checked, elbowed, shoved, dragged to the floor. These aren't hard fouls. These are targeted hits, blatant attempts to rattle her, wear her down, and eventually knock her out. And the referees, they've been watching it happen and doing absolutely nothing. Fouls don't get called, flagrants get ignored. And through it all, WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has remained completely silent. No statements, no warnings to teams, no protections for the player responsible for the league's financial explosion. Engelbert has allowed the most marketable athlete in the WNBA to be treated like a punching bag while pretending everything is just fine. Her inaction is more than disappointing, it's insulting.
And the truth is the truth, and the data is there. And what we saw when Caitlin was out the last time, the 5 games that she missed earlier in the season, the WNBA's viewership.
Let's be clear, Caitlin Clark isn't just a rising star. She's the face of the league. Since her debut, ticket prices have tripled. Jerseys with her name are selling out in every state. TV ratings for WNBA games have hit historic highs. Sponsors, broadcasters, and even rival teams are cashing in on the Caitlin Clark effect. And yet this is how she's treated. Tossed to the floor, slammed in the paint, ignored by refs, and dragged back onto the court every night like she's some kind of indestructible superhero. The WNBA is building its future on her back, but they've forgotten she's human. And if they don't change course, they're going to lose the one player they can't afford to lose.
Now, I know a lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlin Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion.
The fans aren't stupid. They've been watching Clark get hammered every game, and they've had enough. Indiana supporters are covering their eyes every time she drives the lane. Viral videos show Clark being slammed to the floor without a whistle. The crowd gasps, the refs shrug, even national commentators are starting to question what's going on. But some players, like Dana Evans, still have the nerve to suggest Clark is playing the victim. That's laughable. She's not acting, she's surviving, she's playing through pain most athletes would sit out for. And instead of stepping in to stop the abuse, the league and its players act like it's all just part of the game. But the fans see through it, and they're not staying quiet anymore.
Do look at it, and you take a look at the injury. Stephanie White spoke about it, so let me give you the latest. This all just came out, so this is all as I speak. Basically, Tony East, shout out to him. This is the video of Stephanie White discussing the Caitlin Clark injury.
With Caitlin, when did you guys find out about this groin injury, and how much of an absence do you expect from her beyond today?
Yeah, late last night. I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment. I stay in my lane and let our strength and conditioning and our physical, our AT staff do what they do best. But yeah, I found out late last night, and then we'll treat it day-to-day.
Back to back.
But the blame doesn't stop with the league. Let's talk about the Indiana Fever coaching staff. Caitlin Clark has looked hurt for weeks. Everyone saw it. Slower cuts, less lift on her shot, pain on her face. And what did they do? They kept playing her. They even sent her back in with 45 seconds left during a blowout game when the outcome was already decided. And then came the stunning admission. After the groin injury was announced, Fever head coach Stephanie White was asked when she found out. Her answer? Late last night. She said it was day-to-day and that she lets the medical staff handle it. That's it. That's the answer. No plan, no explanation, no ownership. Clark is the most valuable player in the league, and her own coach didn't know she was injured until the night before a game. That's not just poor communication, it's a complete failure of leadership.
Can we stop treating Caitlin Clark like she's some type of villain? The hate that she gets from the other players in the WNBA is unmatched, and I don't understand it. All she's trying to do is put the WNBA on the map and raise it to another level, which is all she has done since she's gotten into the league. Ticket sales are through the roof. Sold out arenas because of Caitlin Clark. The ratings are through the roof. You've got more eyes and more people watching the WNBA now more than ever because of Caitlin Clark. And y'all steadily want to speak bad on her name. Y'all want to flagrant foul, try to fight her, mess her up in the games. Not regular basketball fouls. These are blatant, flagrant fouls trying to hurt this girl.
This isn't just about Caitlin, it's about a culture that rewards toughness and punishes popularity. There's a clear resentment in the league toward Clark's spotlight. She's the rookie who took over the headlines, who grabbed endorsement deals, who brought millions of new fans to the game. And some veterans don't like that, so they hit her harder, foul her without fear, make her earn it. That's the unspoken rule. But this isn't hazing. This is targeted violence, and the league is letting it happen. Instead of stepping in, they've decided to let jealousy take the wheel. And now the very player driving their success is limping off the court while they pretend it's business as usual.
Some fans also noticed that she had her upper left leg taped during a couple of those games. So there's a lot of things going on, a lot of things pointing to the fact that something wasn't right. And I have to be totally honest with you guys, I am not surprised by this news at all. I was just having a conversation with my fiance last night and I told him, I was like, I think Caitlin's hurt. I'm not going to be surprised if sometime soon the Indiana Fever pulls her and sits her for a few games. I think she is still battling some sort of injury. And less than 12 hours later, the news dropped from the Fever.
Let's talk about the consequences. The All-Star game is coming up, and without Caitlin Clark, there is no headliner. Ticket sales will tank, viewership will drop, and all those highlight reels and promos built around Clark, useless. The Fever without her, they're struggling. The WNBA without her, they're invisible. If this injury lingers, or worse, leads to another, everything the league has built this year could collapse. Clark is the engine, the fuel, and the roadmap. Without her, the WNBA loses momentum, loses fans, and loses its future. And it didn't have to be this way. All they had to do was protect her.
To WNBA Fight Night, or as some people are saying, WNBA Raw. What a game that was. We had it all. We had basketball, we had fighting, we had blonde on blonde crime. Oh, such an epic. Oh, goodness.
Here's the truth. Caitlin Clark doesn't need the WNBA. The WNBA needs her. She's already changed the sport once. But if this league continues to let her get hit, ignored, and worn down, she might not be around to change it again. The groin injury is a warning, a line in the sand, and the league is running out of time to fix it, so say it louder than ever. Protect Caitlin Clark. Protect the player who's bringing millions of eyes to the game. Protect the future. If you agree, hit that like button. Subscribe to Spotlight WNBA, and drop a comment below. Time to protect Caitlin Clark, because if they won't say it, we will, and we won't stop until they finally start listening.